Welcome back, gearheads. In the 1960s Australia, some cars looked like Grandpa's grocery getter, but under the hood, total sleepers. One of these could smoke a V8 at the lights and still had a baby seat in the back. These are the 8 unknown Australian sleeper cars of the 1960s. Number 8, Morris Major Elite Series 2, 1962 to 1964. A car built for quiet suburban errands, yet somehow had enough guts to chase down bigger sixes on a weekend run. It looked like it belonged outside a pharmacy or waiting at a school pickup line. But underneath that modest skin, this little Aussie-Brit hybrid had more bite than anyone expected. By the early 1960s, most Australians would glance at the Morris Major Elite and see a commuter's car. Polite, conservative, predictable. You'd expect it to pull into the church car park or school gates, not pull past a Falcon on the highway. But hiding beneath that gently sloped bonnet was a little surprise: a 1.6-liter BMC B-Series engine, stretched to 1,622 cubic centimeters. Now, 64 horsepower and 86 pound-feet of torque won't raise any eyebrows in 2025. But consider this. The Major weighed only 920 kilograms. That meant a punchy power-to-weight ratio, capable of sending this humble sedan from 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 13 seconds. That may not sound blistering today, but back then, in a compact sedan, that was real pace. And it didn't stop there. The Major Elite Series 2 came with front disc brakes, an unusual bonus for a car of this size and price. That gave it braking confidence its competitors couldn't match. On twisting rural roads or city corners, it could hang close to heavier 6-cylinder rivals. Cars that cost more, weighed more, and made a lot more noise doing it. But the real magic was how silent its threat was. This wasn't a sports car pretending to be civil. It was the opposite, a civil car that just happened to have fangs. Of course, it wasn't flawless. Build quality could be hit or miss. Rust was a recurring villain, and the interior? Let's call it utilitarian. Vinyl everything, a dashboard that looked like it was borrowed from a lawnmower. But somehow that didn't matter, because every now and then, someone would pull up next to this unassuming compact, rev their big six with confidence, and find themselves staring at its taillights. This was the kind of sleeper that never asked for respect, but earned it, quietly, repeatedly. And when it finally slowed down and turned into the grocery store parking lot, you were left thinking, what the hell just happened? But if that polite little Brit-Aussie blend could quietly destroy you at the lights, wait till you meet the Holden that had no stripes, no scoops, and still made people whisper its name in performance circles. Number 7, Holden EH Special 179, 1963 to 1965. Now this was the classic case of don't judge a book by its cover. Clean, squared off, almost anonymous. The Holden EH Special 179 didn't scream for attention. It didn't have racing stripes, flashy wheels, or a loud exhaust. What it had was a secret weapon. When it launched in 1963, Holden's EH series was meant to move Australia. Mums, tradies, dogs, camping gear, lawn chairs. It was the suburban chariot of choice. But under that broad bonnet, Holden quietly slipped in its newest toy, the 179 cubic inch 2.9-liter red motor. Compared to the tired old gray motor that came before, this engine was a leap into the future. 115 horsepower, 176 pound-feet of torque, and most importantly, it wanted to rev. It pulled stronger, climbed cleaner, and could break into the low 11-second range for 0 to 60 miles per hour. That's right, 11 seconds in a car that your uncle used to teach you how to parallel park. And people started to notice, not at first, but soon enough, drivers learned that if you lined up next to an EH with the 179 badge, you were rolling the dice. Lightweight, just over 1,100 kilograms, and surprisingly spry, it had the straight line pull to catch more stylish European imports off guard. And if you happened to be rolling with a tuned version, with twin carbs, maybe a more aggressive cam, it wasn't just a sleeper anymore. It was a weapon. In fact, this motor became a legend in tuning circles. Street racers and backyard mechanics loved how easy it was to wake up. You didn't need deep pockets, just know-how and a little attitude. Suddenly, EHs were out-dragging cars that cost twice as much and looking entirely ordinary while doing it. But even legends have weaknesses. The drum brakes struggled if you leaned in too hard. The steering felt like it belonged on a boat. And corners? Let's just say it preferred straight lines. But that's the point. This was a car that lulled you into underestimating it. You'd laugh at the body, mock the badge, then get smoked at the lights and wonder how it happened. Again, the EH Special 179 wasn't loud. It wasn't cocky, but it had something far more dangerous, real capability hiding behind the ordinary. And just when Aussies were getting used to the idea of a sleeper Holden, Chrysler came along with something bolder, bigger, meaner, a machine with American firepower and just enough Aussie soul to make it dangerous. Stay tuned. Number 6. Chrysler Valiant SV1, 1962 to 1963. This one didn't just whisper sleeper, it spoke it in fluent Detroit drawl. When the Chrysler Valiant SV1 hit Australian roads in 1962, most drivers didn't quite know what to make of it. It had a sharp American face, a weirdly high beltline, and a nose that looked like it belonged in a low-budget sci-fi film. Most thought it was a bit odd, but odd or not, this thing moved. While Holden and Ford were still playing it safe with underpowered sixes, Chrysler dropped something else under the bonnet of the SV1, the 225 cubic inch slant six. Tilted 30 degrees to one side, this inline six looked strange, sounded strange, but made 145 horsepower and 215 pound-feet of torque right out of the box. Let that sink in. 145 horses in a car from 1962. This wasn't just a quick family sedan, this was a bruiser in disguise. That meant the SV1 could run a sub-11 second 0 to 60 miles per hour at stock weight. In an era where most rivals were still crawling to 60 in 14 or 15 seconds, the Valiant was already 2 postcodes ahead. But the power was just one part of the puzzle. What made this car truly dangerous was how normal it looked doing it. The SV1 had no fake vents, no racing stripes, no wheel flares, just steel hubcaps and a, what year is that? Grill. It was the kind of car your grandfather might drive to the hardware store, until he dropped the hammer, and then it was too late. The secret weapon? Torque. That slanted 6 delivered waves of it from idle, making the SV1 feel faster than its numbers even suggested. It didn't need to scream up to redline, it just shoved, confidently, all the way through the revs. And with a rugged 3-speed manual or Chrysler's clever push-button auto, it didn't matter how you launched it, it went. Sure, the SV1 had its quirks. Steering was numb, and the front suspension made it feel like a boat in corners. But sleepers aren't built for corners, they're built for shock. And shock is what you got. This was the first time Aussie drivers really felt American muscle sneak into the family car segment. A car that looked like a librarian and punched like a dock worker. It wouldn't be the last, because just a few years later, Ford rolled out something sleeker, quieter, more sophisticated, and somehow even more brutal. Like stories about forgotten fast cars? Subscribe for more underrated machines that never got the spotlight they deserved. Number 5. Ford Falcon XR 200 Pursuit, 1966 to 1968. At first glance, it was just another XR Falcon, the family sedan Ford built for growing suburbs and Sunday drives. But behind the badge, behind the friendly face and well-mannered panels, lurking underneath was one of the most underappreciated performance sleepers of its time, the XR 200 Pursuit. The year was 1966. Ford had just dropped the XR Falcon, a broader, bolder design meant to steal the family car crown from Holden. But they didn't stop at design. They quietly added a special engine package to the lineup, the 200 cubic inch inline 6, tuned for performance, and handed the Pursuit nameplate. That word wasn't just branding, it was a promise. The Pursuit 200 was a cop-spec motor in a civilian body, churning out 121 horsepower and close to 190 pound-feet of torque. That might not sound wild today, but matched with a curb weight of just over 1,200 kilograms, it delivered a 0 to 60 miles per hour sprint in under 11 seconds. Let's be clear, this car had no spoilers, no GT badges, no wide tires. It didn't need them. It just needed a straight stretch of road and someone brave enough to bury the throttle. And that's exactly what people did. In fact, this engine, smooth, flexible, and unshakably torquey, became the go-to choice for those in the know. Young blokes in country towns, mechanics with an eye for sleepers, and yes, even local cops all leaned into the XR200's quiet power. The real kicker? It drove beautifully. Unlike its Chrysler and Holden rivals, the XR handled surprisingly well for a sedan of its size. The front end was responsive, the brakes solid, and the ride smooth, even when you leaned on it hard. You could go fast without feeling reckless. But the beauty of it all? You didn't look fast. That's what made it dangerous. The 200 Pursuit XR looked like something your mate's mom would drive to netball practice. It wasn't supposed to be quick, and yet it was outpacing cars with twice the attitude, twice the noise, and none of the subtlety. The XR 200 Pursuit proved something we hadn't fully realized until then. Sometimes the fastest cars are the ones nobody sees coming. And as the sun set on the 60s, a new generation of Aussie sleepers was already preparing to pounce. Louder, meaner, but still true to the same formula. Blend in, hit hard, disappear. Would you take one of these over a flashy V8, or is subtle speed more your thing? Drop a comment and let me know. What's your kind of sleeper? Number 4. Holden HD X2 179, 1965 to 1966. If you were alive in 1965 and saw a Holden HD cruise by, chances are you didn't look twice. Why would you? The HD was Holden's awkward middle child, taller, boxier, and a little too sensible for the thrill-seeking set. It looked like a car your uncle bought with a government bonus. It came in pastel blues, muted greens, and grays with names like Alaskan White. No menace, no myth, until you spotted the badge. X2. Holden didn't scream it, they didn't market it with fireworks or billboards, but those who knew, knew. The X2 option unlocked something Australia wasn't quite expecting from a car that looked like it still lived with its mum. A tuned 179 cubic inch straight six, dual Stromberg carbs, a performance camshaft, and a mild bump in compression. The result? 140 horsepower of unassuming fury. In 1965, 140 horsepower in a mass-market Aussie sedan was borderline subversive. That made the HDX2 a missile with a driver's license, and nobody saw it coming. Where the base HD limped through the quarter mile in over 20 seconds, the X2 trimmed that time down like a razor. Mid-17s depending on your tires and nerves. That meant it was running door-to-door with much flashier American imports, and yet it looked like nothing. No bulges, no GT stripes. Just a discreet badge, twin-carb chatter under the bonnet, and maybe, just maybe, a driver smirking from behind the wheel. Because the HDX2 wasn't about top speed, it was about catching you off guard. Pull up next to it in your stock Falcon or sleepy Vauxhall and think, easy pickings. Then watch your mirrors fill with regret. And the beauty of it? Holden never tried to make it sexy. The interior was bare. The body, slab-sided. The suspension, leaf springs and prayer. But the tuning was real, the acceleration was honest, and the X2's legend quietly grew, especially among young street racers and sleeper car fanatics. They say true power doesn't need to brag. The HDX2 proved that. It simply showed up, did the job, and left before anyone caught on. You thought that was sneaky? Wait till you meet the car that wore a three-piece suit and punched like a heavyweight. Number 3. Valiant VC Regal 273 V8, 1966 to 1967. Now this one came dressed to kill. The Valiant VC Regal wasn't subtle, it had class, chrome, tail fins that hinted at the end of an era, but it still held on to that polite, understated silhouette of a respectable Aussie sedan. A gentleman's car, until you turned the key. Under that formal, flat bonnet was a gift from the States, the 273 cubic inch V8, a small block engine with bite. Borrowed from Plymouths and Dodges, half a world away. The numbers? 180 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque. This wasn't a sports car. This was a lounge on wheels with a clenched fist under its sleeve. Most buyers chose the Regal trim for comfort. Wood grain dash, reclining seats, automatic transmission. Few realized they were purchasing one of the first V8 sedans ever built in Australia. But the ones who did, they turned suburbia into a battlefield. This Valiant could hit 0 to 60 in around 9 seconds, which in 1966 was not just quick, it was menacing. The 273 V8 had incredible low-end torque, launching the car forward like it weighed 500 kilograms less than it did. And unlike the noisy, shaky sixes of the era, this V8 was silky, refined. You'd barely hear it idle until you floored it. Then it roared. And yet, on the surface, still the same chrome-trimmed, opera-windowed, middle-class cruiser. No flared guards, no racing stripes, just a quiet V8 heartbeat under your foot and a trail of shocked drivers in your wake. Valiant's approach here was almost accidental genius. They didn't build a muscle car, they built a gentleman's sleeper. A car that said, "Don't worry about me," until it walked right past your Monaro at the lights. What really sold it, though, was how well it held together. Mopar reliability, classic American underpinnings, and enough torque to tow a small country, all wrapped in a church-going suit. It was the beginning of a V8 movement in Australian motoring, but back then, it was still a secret. Only those who dared to push the Regal found its true identity. Not just a car, a wolf in velvet. Coming up next, a car with split personality disorder, half ordinary sedan, half back alley brawler. And when it showed up in your rearview mirror, you only had one question. What is that thing? Would you take this understated muscle sedan over something with a bigger name? Drop a comment and let me know. Number 2, Holden HK Kingswood 307 V8, 1968 to 1969. The Holden HK Kingswood, a car so innocuous, you could easily mistake it for your local school principal's ride. The Kingswood was more family sedan than street brawler. It wasn't the type of car to stand out in a parking lot, nor was it designed to make you sweat in the rearview mirror. It wasn't flashy, no wild stripes, no aggressive badging, just a clean, squared-off silhouette with a grin that said, "I'll take you to the shops, no problem." But underneath, something very different was hiding. In 1968, Holden didn't just throw a V8 into the Kingswood for fun. They went big. The 307 cubic inch V8, a monster for the time. This wasn't a light, quick cruiser. This was a big-bore bruiser, producing a solid 235 horsepower. If you thought this car was just another family bus, well, you were about to get schooled. With that V8, the Kingswood was quicker off the line than most sports sedans of the day, 0 to 60 in around 8 seconds, which was impressive for a mid-size sedan. For context, that's quicker than some of the flashier muscle cars of the era. But what made it even more dangerous wasn't just the straight-line speed, it was the fact that it looked so harmless. No one would expect a stock Holden family car to knock your socks off in a drag race. Yet there it was, humbling the occasional Ford Falcon GT and setting the stage for Holden's more serious muscle car offerings. Not flashy, not fast by muscle car standards, but definitely faster than anyone thought. And the kicker? The Kingswood 307 was a sleeper before sleepers were even a thing. Sure, it wasn't a sleek, aggressive muscle car, but it had enough speed to chase down some of the quickest cars on the road. And it did it with a modesty that made you think, how the hell did I lose to that? If you love hidden muscle in plain sight, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more stories on these underrated machines. Number 1. Studebaker Lark 4-door sedan, 1965 to 1967. And here it is, the ultimate sleeper of them all, Studebaker Lark 4-door sedan. If you've never heard of the Studebaker Lark, don't be surprised. This car was as American as apple pie, and just as unassuming. It was your typical 1960s family sedan, with the kind of design that made you think, that'll get me to church on Sunday, and maybe even take the kids to Little League practice. But then, you pop the hood, cue the suspenseful music. Underneath the Lark's innocent, plain Jane exterior was a bombshell, the 289 cubic inch V8 engine. And trust me, this wasn't just for show. This was a V8 that churned out 225 horsepower with more than enough torque to shock the competition. For a car that looked like it should be spending its days hauling groceries, this was a sleeper, an unexpected powerhouse that caught many drivers off guard. Imagine cruising along in your family sedan, all calm and collected, and then you hear the Lark's engine. It's quiet at first, but once that pedal goes down, you're gone. Not just for the 0 to 60 mile/hour run, but down the entire strip, leaving your competitors still trying to catch their breath. The Studebaker Lark wasn't about to get flashy. This was a car for drivers in the know, and the beauty was in its subtlety. No aggressive fender flares, no racing stripes, just a classic sedan with enough muscle to make you question everything you knew about family sedans. What makes the Lark such an interesting story, though, is that it wasn't even marketed for performance. This wasn't some muscle car trying to hide in plain sight. It was just a family sedan that, against all odds, was fast enough to burn the competition at the lights. Those who were in on the secret knew just how good it was. And sure, it might not have had the same reputation as the bigger names, but once that 289 V8 roared to life, the Studebaker Lark was more than just a memory. It was a piece of automotive history, quietly packing a punch. Who would have thought? The family sedan that could race with the best and still go back to being a weekend grocery getter with no one the wiser. That, my friends, is the essence of the perfect sleeper. These cars were quiet but deadly, outpacing the competition without a sound. But what if I told you the 70s unleashed sleepers so wild, they nearly shut down the streets? You'll want to stay tuned because the next video will reveal machines so fast, they left the competition eating their dust. And some of them were almost banned. Don't blink. The real monsters are coming. Which sleeper stole the show for you? Drop a comment and let's talk. And don't forget to subscribe. This underground world is just warming up.